1023 WYCA FM and HD Crete, Chicago, WPWX Hammond, Chicago, HD Channel 2, and WYRB Genoa, Rockford, DeKalb, HD Channel 3.
One of the most difficult things to do is find yourself in a storm, and while in that storm it seems like everyone who you thought you could count on has walked away. Sometimes it seems like even God himself has forgotten about you. But in spite of that, to still be able to lift your hands and say, Lord, I trust you.
Even though I can see and I can't feel your touch, I will trust you, Lord. How I love you so much. Though my nights may seem long and I feel so alone, Lord, my trust is in you.
I can't do this by myself.
I surrender to you. So many painful thoughts travel through my mind, and I wonder how I will make it through this time. But I'll trust.
It's not easy.
Lord, it's not easy. Sometimes the pain in my life
makes you seem so far away.
But I'll trust. I need to know you're here.
As long as I know you're here, Father, I know I can make it.
Through the tears and the pain,
thank you, Jesus.
through the heartache and rain, I'll trust you.
Oh God, I trust you. Sometimes it's so hard because everything that I see tells me not to believe.
Everything that I see tells me not to believe, but I'll trust you, Lord. You have never found me. My past still controls me.
Things that happened to me 10 years ago.
This hurt ever leave. I can only trust you. No one else like you do.
But it's the thoughts in my mind.
So many painful thoughts travel through my mind, and I wonder
how I will make it.
I will make it through.
Oh God, but I trust you.
I'll trust. Lord, it's not easy.
Sometimes the pain in my life,
Sometimes the pain
oh God, it makes you seem so far away. Can I get a witness, somebody? But God, I trust you.
I need to know you're here.
Through the tears.
Through the tears and the pain.
Welcome back to the Let's Stay Together show. We're talking about I Will Survive, living in an HIV-AIDS relationship. We're going to turn this over to my baby, my girl, my boo, to get some announcements, and then we're going to go right back into the subject.
Okay, looking for a good cause. Support the McCain train. Y'all correct me. We are looking for sponsors, and we are asking for love offerings to support our show. You could donate $25 a month to help support the show or whatever God has placed in your heart. Please send all love offerings to the Let's Stay Together radio show, P.O. Box 902, South Holland, Illinois, 60473.
Hey, and I want to just chime in on that. Once again, these what we're asking for you to help us out with donations and offering, it goes directly to the show so we can provide topics like this that are very important that need to be discussed. We have doctors that come in here that wants to share with you, but we need you to also support us as well. So if you can, $25 to that P.O. box, we'd greatly appreciate it. We're going to go right now to Tracy, who has a statement or a question from a person who's chiming in about our HIV subject. Tracy, go ahead.
Okay, now this comment is about 12 years ago. The thing was said that he had a doctor, a family, the practitioner kind of doctor, who would not touch this person while they were physically examining them, between being homophobic and looking down on them because of their HIV status. They wound up having to file a complaint against this person, and which is why a lot of people prefer female or white doctors when it comes to living with HIV. And also, when someone tells you they're positive, one of the things they don't want to hear is, I'm sorry. I always want to say, you're sorry for what? It's nothing to be sorry for. It's like telling someone you're sorry because you've learned they're diabetic. Also something that's that's a very invasive question. So one of the questions that I want to ask along with that comment, them asking along with that comment, is how you got exposed. He said that he gets that question a lot.
I guess I empathize, and I just want to say, you shouldn't have had that provider 12 years ago. I'm happy that you have a provider now that you're comfortable with and that you have a good relationship with and a good rapport with. That shouldn't have happened 12 years ago, but it's a good thing that you're in care right now, and it sounds like you're doing well. It sounds like your HIV is well controlled. It sounds like your numbers are probably pretty good too. It sounds like you have a good provider right now and a good support network, so you feel comfortable discussing it, and we appreciate that, and we want to say thank you for that.
One of the things that we also want to say is that it's unfortunate that you run into some people who will have phobias, and they will bring it into their environment and their work relationship. But it's not something that we would say now that should happen. If someone is specializing in infectious disease or HIV and AIDS, they should have that compassion to be able to help that person to understand. So, Doctor, I'm going to go to you, Doctor. I'm saying Meyer, right? Am I saying that right? She's looking at me like, I don't want to go there. I can go to Dr. Williams if you want to. Dr. Williams, talk to me. Huh? Williamson. Dr. Williamson. My wife's correcting me. That's why you got a helpmate, baby. Dr. Williamson, talk to us about that. How does a person feel? I'm going to someone who's supposed to help me, and they're looking down on me as well. Help somebody with understanding that that's not a common thing, but how do they deal with that when I went to you and you're denying me as well?
I think all patients should know their rights in the healthcare system. Mm-hmm. People should know that in the Civil Rights Act there is medical content to that people have a right to be treated respectfully. They have a right to be served respectfully. They have a right to receive services in the language that they speak. So if they are mistreated by a medical provider, they should take that and move forward for formal complaints.
So you know what I want to go to now is I want to talk about the relationship aspect of HIV/AIDS. What do we say, because sometimes a person would say that a person who has HIV/AIDS should not be considering having a child because that child might contract the HIV/AIDS. Now, we heard Dr. Williamson say that the drugs have came up so dramatically. I don't know if was it ART? I think that's the name of it. If that's one that's helping in certain aspects. But what do you say to a society who believes that a woman should not have a child if they have HIV/AIDS? Is it safe? Is it okay? Help the audience understand that.
Well, we have women that are having children, that are women who are HIV positive that are having children now more than ever, especially with advances in antiretroviral therapy, which is what you were mentioning before. As a doctor, I was speaking with the doctor hat on. I do believe that it's up to the patient, the family. That's a decision that someone makes with themselves, between the mom and the dad, and that's just a decision they make. I don't believe that it's up to anyone else to determine whether someone should or should not have a child based on their HIV status. What we do encourage for people that are HIV positive that desire to have children is for them to stay on their medications. As Dr. Williamson mentioned before, when a mom is taking her medications daily, and I stress daily, when she's taking her medicines daily, and when they're given IV medications during the process of childbirth, and when that baby is taking that medicine 6 weeks out, then the chances of the baby contracting HIV is very low. And just to keep that in mind, as I see many patients at the Core Center that are interested in having children, and I just caution them to do that, as with anyone, to do it responsibly.
So, Dr. Aboyeji, I want to find out about this. I'm HIV positive. I'm just using it as an example. I'm HIV positive, and my wife is not. Is it safe for us to still have a relationship, a sexual relationship with each other? What are because a lot of people saying, I don't feel comfortable with that. How do we make the people who are in a relationship feel comfortable about the possibility of having a relationship?
Short answer, yes. What you need to do is talk to your provider. Certain things need to be done. You should have protection, which means condoms. There are certain other options you can use called pre-exposure prophylactics, which you need to discuss with your provider first. The big thing is you got to be in care with the provider you feel comfortable talking to. But short answer, yes. Long answer with caveats. You need to do certain things. So protection. Talk to your provider about pre-exposure prophylactics if he or she thinks that you should have that or you warrant that. Just have that conversation, but I think those are the necessary things. But short answer, yes.
Cool.
Do you want to elaborate on this? Because I have a different question that's been raised.
She was just going to say something, so I'll let her just do a quick elaboration on that.
And I think part of that protection is being aware of condom use. I know a lot of times we don't like to say that word or talk about it, but condom use with oral sex, anal sex, vaginal sex, whatever sex is going on, condom use is the recommendation. A lot of times we don't talk about it because a lot of people feel like if we talk about it, then we're encouraging people to do something or not to do something. I think we know people are doing what they're doing. Exactly. And we want to caution them to be safe when they're doing it.
And yes, that's true, because we sit here sometimes and we act like we're Christians and we don't do certain things. And what we want to do is open up the window of understanding that these things happen and there are ways that we can protect each other. So thank you very much for letting them know that. Baby, you got something you want to add?
Yeah, I definitely want to know. I read somewhere that women contract AIDS much faster in numbers than men. Why is that?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the acts, whether you're having receptive sex, which means you're having receptive sex. And also it has a lot to do with what I'm saying. A lot of times when my patients come in, they say, well, Dr. Green, I did not want to say anything. I did not want to suggest that they use a condom. I did not want to show up with my own condoms because I was afraid they would think a certain way of me. And we know, like in Chicago alone, among females, heterosexual contact accounts for 86%.
Wow.
Of transmission of the virus. That means that woman was having sex with her male partner. And so when I talk to people, I caution them, like, are you ready for sex? They say yes. I say, really? Have you gotten tested for HIV? Yes. Has your partner gotten tested? Yes. Are they negative or positive? They say they're negative. I say, how do you know? They go, oh, well, they went to their doctor and I went to mine. And I'm like, well, you couldn't go to the doctor together. You couldn't look at their results. Maybe you're not that close. Yeah, so you have to think about it. Protect yourself. See your partner's status.
Yes.
And I think my wife was trying to show her paper. Did you check your status or something like that? Is that what you're doing?
I'm just saying to all the single people, because we're dealing with single people, hopefully no married people, but single people, if you are dating like that, it's nothing wrong with a woman protecting herself, as Dr. Green says, being proactive. Love yourself first. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I'm selfish. I love Brenda Faye McCain. I get checked out.
Could you say that part again? You what?
I love Brenda. Yes, I'm selfish. Green. Thank you, Tracy. And I'm sure Maya understands too. Dr. Green, as women, knowing that we are high in numbers, why not get checked out? And if you're thinking about, I hate to say it, wedding and bedding someone, have this person get checked out, and you can look at the stat numbers together, and conversation could be, what's your T-cell count? Mm-hmm. Whatever it takes, just, strike up a conversation.
Hey, Dr. Williamson, go ahead. You want to say something? Dr. Williamson, I want to ask you a question real quick. She came up with that, test the person out. Help somebody understand, because a lot of times, I may not feel comfortable going to the person that I'm married to or I'm in a relationship with saying, have you been tested? How do we approach that individual to let them know that, hey, I want to be sure that what we're about to do, everything is safe, or we don't get into a situation later where we find out something that can be life-threatening?
I think in a married situation, first and foremost and always has to be mutual ability to have communication.